Have you checked the children?
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Sometimes that is better.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Oh,
Dude, what is going on?
this again, huh?
I'm confused.
I think it's because of what we're talking about. Hang on one second. Let me just.
Oh, better.
There we go. Whew. All right, guys. So we started upside down. That means we have to talk about Stranger Things. So, guys, we are going to be talking about the follow-up book. The first book that I reviewed by myself actually was the Stranger Things 4-issue comic book series from 2017 or 18. Might have been 18, actually.
Something like that.
And that book told the story of Will Byers, his side of the story from season 1 of Stranger Things. And after reading it, it felt pretty indispensable. It didn't feel superfluous. It felt like, oh, we legitimately got his side of everything, where he was when he was disappeared and missing for all that time, what he was doing. It felt integral to the story.
And the parallels were kind of interesting because it was like, this is what, like when certain lights, the Christmas lights are going up and the communication.
Exactly.
It's like you saw
His
what was
side of the
happening
story.
on his end when those beats were going down. And it was, the writing wasn't, it felt more for like younger readers to a degree to me,
Sure.
like young adult kind of thing.
Sure.
But it was still like an other side of the coin that felt necessary.
All of us that enjoyed the series could enjoy that book.
Yeah.
That cannot be said for this grouping of
Yeah.
comics. Now, this one is the Stranger Things Free Comic Book Day issue from, I believe, 2018. It might be 2017.
I think it's 18.
Yeah, it might be 2018. So this acted more as an epilogue to that first series. So this one we'll talk about a little bit separate, but the series that we're talking about here is this. Stranger Things 6, which was a new 4-issue prequel series in the Stranger Things universe.
Yep, and 6 corresponding with the number of another test subject at this institution in Indiana and everything. And we've met a couple different ones. In that Strange Season 2 episode, we met 8. 8, yes,
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
The one episode that everyone hates the most out of all of season 2.
Out of maybe the entire Stranger Things 3-season run, because it's just so weird and different.
Now, I believe these are all written by the same person that wrote the first series, Jody Hauser. So this one, to give credit, this Free Comic Book Day edition, the script was by Jody Hauser. The art, you can see Ibrahim Mustafa, and the color by, what does that say? Can't really see. Triona Farrell. And then lettering. All those are the credits, but this was literally just a update where Mikey, after the events of Stranger Things Season 1 or the first comic book series, once they've gotten Will back and everything is kind of settled back to normal, but 11 is now missing. As you can see, Mikey is waiting outside her little cubby hole at his house.
Sitting sad in the basement, and there's some discussion back and forth between everyone's favorite guy, Steve.
Steve and Nancy.
And Nance, yeah.
So they're trying to cheer Mike up, and in doing so, they're basically asking him his thoughts on everything, which are very downer. And so that's the long and short of it. It's a recap of a lot of the things that happened in Season 1. But it's also them asking, hey, how does Dungeons and Dragons work? And so he goes into that, and the idea is to get him back playing games again, so he's not completely distraught after the end of Season 1, missing 11.
Yeah, it's about the healing power of gaming and just camaraderie with your friends and stuff like that, because, Mike does say in this little half issue of sorts, he's like, yeah, we haven't even played since that last game when Will went missing. They haven't even got together to do any of that since he's come back home and was found and stuff. And so it's very forgettable in a lot of ways. There's really not much to it, although it does make me laugh because it's right in line with Steve's personality, because we find out that Nancy at one point played D&D with them and even got in this elf outfit and had the ears and everything, and there's a picture of it. And then the last thing that he says to her at the end is he's like, hey, so do you still have that elf outfit? And she's like, you're just the worst, Steve, blah, blah. And you're just like, all right. But,
So
not much to it. Obviously.
not much to it, but that leads us to the new series, the prequel series, Stranger Things 6. And this first issue. Now, Fuego, I'm going to let you tackle the story since you read it most recently, but let's be honest about this whole thing, okay? When I handed you the books, what did I say?
You forewarned me that there wasn't very much to it and that I shouldn't expect much, but then again, I didn't think the writing was super dense or anything in the previous comic series, the one that focused on Will, but this was... I don't know. I read one of the prequel novels that they did, and it was all about Eleven's mother and that initial test group and stuff. That novel was actually very...
Eleven's mother cameos in this, actually, very briefly.
Yeah, that was actually really good. You know, and I don't know if it's Eleven's mother that cameos in this because
I thought it was.
she...
Yeah, go looking for Jane.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, sorry, I was thinking for a second. I'm like, no, she didn't die in childbirth. She was stolen. At
She was looking for
her.
Jane. And that's the most interesting thing. So go ahead. What's the story here? And real quick, I'll give proper accreditation. Again, written by Jody Houser. The pencils in this one are Edgar Salazar. Inks by Keith Champagne. Colors by Marissa Louise. Letters by Neat Picos of Blambo.
Yeah. It's really very simple and straightforward. You have this young girl. What is her name again? I'm trying to remember.
Her actual name?
Her actual name. It should say right at the very. I want to say Charlie, maybe.
Francine.
Yeah, I'm way off. Anyway, so Francine.
1970. This takes place, or at least it starts
out. Yeah. So we're jumping between different time periods here. So we have when Francine was a young girl and her parents had discovered this power of hers, and then it jumps ahead to where she is being worked on at by Brenner and everybody at the
silver-haired devil
at that Hawkins Institute and stuff. And so the stuff with her as a kid is sad because her parents have discovered her ability and they're trying to use it to their own gain because she can kind of see the future. And so they're trying to get everything from lottery numbers to, who's going to win a boxing match or a horse race or all these different things. So they are definitely...
The dad especially leaning on her.
The dad is big.
Don't you love us enough to give us the winning lottery numbers? Yeah. Like, literally, that's a sentence that he says.
Yeah. And he gets mad at her when she's, like, one number off. And she's just like, I'm going to try to be better, Dad, so on and so forth. And so it's simple, but yet a very sad little plight that this girl has. And then as she grows older, she meets this boy next door who also has powers of his own.
But she doesn't realize it until she sees him at the Institute.
And it's kind of a shocker to her because she had no idea. And he was the one who had recommended her going to the Institute and got her in touch with Brenner in the first place. That's how he found out about her powers and brought her on. And you do see 11 in this. You do see 8 in this.
Well, and there's more to her powers than even she knows, as you find out in the first issue.
Because that little crack that she
Exactly.
makes.
She opens up a crack to the Upside Down, and as you can see, a Demogorgon reaches through, and then the whole thing disappears. But so she realizes that there's more going on than Brenner and company are letting on.
Because she's not really super suspicious. I mean, she's not happy being there, but she's not like thinking they're super evil. She does go along with him when he's telling her, this is the good that we're trying to do with all of your powers and stuff, and there's other institutions doing these same sort of experiments and trials and stuff in various other areas of the world. We are just trying to protect our people here in America. And there's these two twins that are sisters or whatever. One of them has fire powers, so very similar to Charlie. That's why I was thinking Charlie, because of Firestarter.
Right.
And so there's an element of that. So all the kids obviously
these twins
are gifted differently in this, but it's just the characters are not aside from Francine, the characters are not particularly well developed,
not well fleshed out, not interesting,
not at all.
Not even really care worthy. Like,
the dialogue is really sparse and
so rote. Like, it's just not engaging dialogue.
It's not. It's very much just push the story forward
by the numbers.
And I must say, I don't really love the artwork.
No, the artwork isn't. It's not
okay,
bad,
but
it's not. It's nothing that really stands out. There's your earliest glimpse of 11 there before she actually lost all the hair and went and did the bald sitch. But yeah, so she starts to get more and more involved with Brenner. He actually asks 6 to jump into this tank ahead of even 11 before 11 is even a thing.
Now her boyfriend finished the renovations of that wing of the institution, and it was just
her boyfriend is a number 2. Like that's the thing.
He's been involved in the program.
I can't remember what number he was. He might be 5 or something.
He was like 2 or 3.
2 or 3. It might be 3 then.
Yeah.
But that's the weird thing. Like, this series to me made the numbered kids less special because there were like he's a numbered kid and 6 is a numbered kid and neither one are particularly interesting to me. So it's like it's weird that they kind of just wasted the numbered situation just by like telling this prequel story that doesn't even really go anywhere interesting.
No, not at all. It's got kind of a cathartic ending of sorts with what goes down with this girl without spoiling stuff. But
there's not even anything really. I'm
but,
fishing through to show interesting things. There's
the chemistry
really
with this old boy next door, you know, that she was going to go to prom with, and that introduced her to Brenner and everything. I mean, he's in there with her, and I don't know. It's just. Even their relationship doesn't seem to just have that breath of life, and
that was kind of a cool scene. When
that
she was trying to push her abilities,
and that's
the twin. Rather.
Yeah, that's our fire girl, and she ends up killing somebody. You know, who was in the same room. She was trying to direct this energy at one particular space, and apparently it goes to the warmest thing in the room, which is this other person. And in turn, she injures herself and kills him, and so that's where Francine starts to really question the nature of the experimentation and stuff that's going down.
And the last issue goes straight. This is the third. I never showed you the third cover.
So,
but the last issue goes towards the escape. Yeah, they're very painterly covers, much better than the interior artwork.
Yeah, much more so.
And here's the fourth. I'll take the comic out, but yeah, the whole fourth issue is about them trying to escape and what happens and the dire consequences. Yeah, that painterly imagery is really, really beautiful. But and in fact, it even starts with really cool Demogorgon mashup dream stuff. That's really neat.
Yeah, because Francine's like her just future, then like her foresight or whatever you want to call it as, is she sees in turn the breaking through of this creature and
she has visions
that it could potentially cause
of Christmas lights and waffles.
Yeah. When she's in the deprivation tank and they're like, "What did you see?" and she's like, I saw waffles, and Brenner's so pissed at her. He's just like, "That's what you saw."
Yeah, he's like, "You're making up waffle," you know, and it's like we know what waffles mean.
Exactly.
So.
But then when she gets waffles for dinner that night, she's like, "They're not the right shape."
Yeah. They give her square waffles. Yeah, exactly. I can't show any of these last few issues or last few pages because you see
something big happens.
Something big happens. There's dire consequences for the escapees. Some of them anyway, and it's an unfortunately, ultimately uninteresting story.
And unnecessary.
Unnecessary, too. Like, it didn't further the Brenner thing. Like, I guess maybe there was things in there that are supposed to be clues as to what's going on with the organization, but it was told in such a way that was so uninteresting that I'm like, even if there was,
Yeah, bland and uninspired.
I don't blame myself for missing those in that rotted mess. And I, that's part of why I wanted you to read it before we did the review, because I was like, I'm going to review this thing very negatively if I do it by myself. So let me at least see if I'm alone. And no, apparently
you're not, unfortunately.
It's just not a really good series. So I would say definitely pick up the first Stranger Things book if you like season 1 and you want the Will Byers storyline. And if you can get your hands on this free comic book day edition. I'm not sure if this was included in the hardcover for that, or the hardcover for 6, or not at all.
I have the hardcover for the first one.
The first one, did it not include this?
It does not include that. Yeah, so that obviously came out after that trade.
It did come after, yeah. So I don't know if they included it in this or not. This is worth having, but this one is just rough. But if you can get the trade cheap, then go for it. But otherwise, Stranger Things 6 was kind of a bust.
Yeah, dare I say, not really worth your time. Sorry everybody.
But that's why we do these reviews, to let you guys know, and especially for Stranger Things. And Fuego is going to be doing a review of those other 2 novels that he read, especially one that he remembers a little bit more clearly, the better one.
Yeah,
so look forward to those.
Yeah, I think I want to re-listen to / check out the Harbor one about him when he was a younger detective and stuff. And then there's also another one. Oh goodness, who's the redhead girl who came in the second season? What is her name?
Oh, the curly-headed one.
Yeah, it's like something Runaway. Runaway Sam? Is her name Sam?
It might be Sam. Yeah.
Anyway, there's a YA novel about her too that I've been curious to check out. So they're expanding on their world with supplemental.
There's a new graphic novel coming out this year that's called Zombie Boys or something like that.
Oh yes, I remember seeing.
So we'll be reviewing that as well.
It's about them trying to like make their own movies.
They might have actually put the advertisement for that in the back of this. Let me pull it out. Yeah, they're making their own.
It's got a Super 8 kind of vibe to it a little bit, which is dope.
Right here they do. They advertise it coming in
right
2020.
in the middle. Yeah.
Zombie Boys. And it's by Greg Pak, who's a really, really good comic book writer, actually.
What was the other thing that they had there on the left?
It was both trades. It was 6
okay.
and the first trade.
Yeah, this is one where I don't even know if even though I'm a completist, I don't know if I want to pay for the trade for this unless I can get it on.
If you can get it super cheap,
eBay
get it from
or
Book News for
Amazon
$5,
for super cheap,
something like that. Yeah,
any
not worth it
reseller.
other than that, honestly.
Yeah, not for the cover price. That's for damn sure.
I mean, look,
Whatever
they
it
were
might be.
$3.99 per issue, so $16 total. Plus, I got a 15% discount on it, so it was worth it for that, I guess.
Yeah,
I got
I
the
mean-
first prints. You know, if they're ever worth anything, then
yeah.
I'll
Well,
have them.
If your
Likely not.
curiosity is piqued in any way, shape, or form, I mean, at least check it out. But I can't genuinely recommend it. So.
I agree. We're in agreement there. So, why don't you guys let us know in the comments down below? Are you going to try this against our recommendation, or was this enough of a warning to stay away? Are
you
you
read it and like
completionist?
it?
Do you have to read it? Did you read it? Did you like it? Are we being unfair to it? Look, I didn't tell Fuego anything other than I didn't like this very much. And he can make his own decisions. He's a big boy.
Yes, I
and
am.
we just
I'm
happen
all
to come to
grossed
the
up.
same. Yeah, all growed up. We just happen to come to the same opinion on it. It's just not great, guys. Not
Unfortunate
great.
consensus here. So, but hey, is what it is, y'all.
So, yes, if you're interested, check it out. If you have read it, let us know your thoughts in the comments down below. Until next time, I've been Cecil Laird.
Gracias, Jaime and Fuego.
And remember, guys, stay scared.
Thanks to our patrons.